In this tutorial, we'll look at some of the things you can do with SwissSys that will make you look like a pro, even if the most prestigious tournament you direct is the semi-annual Longfellow Elementary School Championship. You may have noticed that in the charts displayed for these tutorials, there's some variety in the fonts and colors. You set these in the Fonts dialog. Let's say you're directing this year's Valentine's Open. And what better way to spend Valentine's Day than hunched over a chessboard? To celebrate the day, you want to have the wall chart show everybody's name in big red letters. Click on the Fonts button, which takes you to the Fonts dialog. In the column for the wall chart, click on the grid marked Name, then change the color to red and make the size as big as you want. Click OK to see the change. Right now the name column is a lot wider than it needs to be. To condense it, move the mouse cursor to the column boundary until you see the shape change. Then click and drag it where you want it. You can do the same thing for row heights. Now let's take a look at how you control what information is displayed. The main way to do that is with the Format Options dialog. This dialog has several tabs. Let's change some settings in the Standings view. First, let's sort it alphabetically. Let's also have SwissSys calculate and display an estimated post-tournament rating. As you can see, there are lots more options, but let's call it good here. Once you set your desired display options, they'll stay that way until you change them again. Click OK and see what it looks like now. Let's try a few pair chart options. We can enable extra information, such as rating and score. This is sometimes of interest to players, and it's always helpful in interpreting the program's pairing decisions. We can also attach a message to the player awarded the bye. Often a player sees the word bye and goes off to grab a bite to eat rather than hang around to see if they might end up getting paired after all. You can select one of the standard messages to bye players shown here, or if you really don't want them to leave without checking in, compose your own like this. Now let's take a look at our revised pair chart. There are the rating and score, and here's the new bye message. There are some options that specifically control printing. One is print magnification, which allows you to enlarge the printout of charts for easier viewing without having to change the way things look on the screen. You can also set the name format here. You should enter players in last name first format, but you can display them in several different ways, including last name in uppercase that I'm using here. Well, those are some of the formatting options. Click Options Environment to see some environment options that control the program interface. Included in this is the ability to select from a variety of screen styles, like this. If you're in a turquoise mood, you can go with turquoise gray. Click Set Up Rules for pairing to see some adjustable settings that control how pairings are made, beginning with what pairing engine to use. Under USCF rules, you have a fair amount of flexibility, and SwissSys supports several rule variations. Mostly the defaults are all you need, although if you want to keep some players from playing against each other, such as team or club members, you can set those pairing restrictions here. FIDE permits little flexibility with its rules, although the same pairing restrictions can be enabled. Let's look at tiebreak systems by clicking Setup Tiebreaks. There is no perfectly fair tiebreak system, but SwissSys supports all the standards. Modified median, Solkoff, and cumulative are three popular choices, so let's go with them. Click them in turn and then move them to the box on the right by clicking on the arrow. Click OK, then enable display of the tiebreaks in the Standings Format Options tab and see what you get. Note that you can elect to hide tiebreaks and prizes too until the last round is over. There is also some language support. You can set all the common menus to be shown in English, Spanish, French, German, and, my favorite, Pig Latin. More languages may be supported in future releases. Well, there are lots more settings you can control. The defaults have things the way most people like them, but as you get to know the program better, you may find helpful little nuggets that allow you to get the output just the way you like it. See you in the next tutorial.